Texas State upsets the number 1 ranked Texas A&M Aggies. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, excuse me. I know this game was a couple of days ago, was wrapping up while we were recording, but now we got to go over it because Texas State beat the number 1 ranked team in the nation as the Bobcats take down Texas A&M 7-3. Basketball-wise, South Alabama hangs on. We had a little SVP bad beat. Those of us did not bet on it, thank goodness, I guess, because I would have had South Alabama. And Arkansas State and the Cajuns get a little physical in what was a rather easy win for Arkansas State. So we'll wrap up basketball heading into what is a regular season finale on Friday. All right, so Texas State does hang on to defeat A&M, the number 1 ranked Aggies, and they are preseason number 1 ranked, right? They went and got the Aggies were, heavily favored to win. They got a lot of guys coming back, and although their third baseman just went down, and I did say this, and it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, right? A&M's got all this money, and they really have never won anything. All right. They're very cocky for never winning anything. So I'd kind of make fun of them for that. And it was tongue-in-cheek last year when the Cajuns went to the regional. And this is Texas and A&M are playing. And I probably should have seen if I could snuck into that game. I don't know where I would have sat. I did go back to the hotel room and watch it, but that game did not end until well after midnight, if not close to 1 a.m. All right. And it was a magical game. And to be honest with you, that's why the Cajuns ended up in the regional final. If somehow the Cajuns had beaten Texas the first go round, they would have lost the second go round because they would have been exhausted, just the way the scheduling worked out. All right. And they would have been drained. That's the way I would have believed. But anyways, I was, tongue in cheek, people that I tell people all the time, I was so disappointed how nice the people were at College Station. Everybody was really nice. And you thought you would have had to separate the, the maroon and the burnt orange, but everybody was so nice in College Station last year, and high expectations for, A&M this year. They are really, really thinking that they're going to have to get some, big time, big time play, except the coach ended up taking the Texas job. That is what happened. Outside of that little move, right? Because the Texas coach got let go, who might be, I believe, with Texas State. Is that right? And so let me see if I got that right. It's either with Texas State or with Troy. But the Texas coach got let go, and it can't be reached. It's temporary letdown. And so, anyways, high expectations this year for A&M. Anyways, Texas State is off to a pretty good start. They beat SUNY Binghamton 3 in a row. They beat Oklahoma State. They did lose to Illinois. They did lose 2 out of 3 to Illinois. And then they beat A&M, and they got Grand Canyon this weekend in San Marcos. Let me see. Is that Steven Trout? And they do have David Pierce. That's the Texas coach that got let go. So a little bit of and so the A&M coach left A&M to take the Texas job is what happened. And so A&M or Texas State gets the job done last night. And A&M, the first inning, Texas State got 1. A&M came back with 2. But then Texas State gets 5 in the third. And it's got to be the longest, really 7 innings. Those outs can't go by fast enough. And they only added 1 more run. So they were up 6-2. And then they added another run to go up 7-2. A&M only put up 1 more run in the 9th. A&M pitched a bunch of guys. So once they gave up a bunch of runs, they were just getting guys in. And they didn't really give anything else up. They gave up the 1 more run in the 5th, and that was it. Tovar for Texas State pitched 4 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, both earned. And then Valentin gave up 1 earned run on 2 hits in 4 2/3 innings and 5 walks. And he did a good job of getting out of a couple of jams in the middle of the game as well. I think I was into it until the 7th inning. I think we were recording on Wednesday night on Tuesday night until the 7th inning. And then we probably went to bed. But, it's a great job by Texas State to get that win. And you just never know what games you're going to use to show that you can compete, right? And obviously, you're going to be excited for it. There's going to be a big-ish crowd. I'm not sure it's going to be sold out on a Wednesday night or Tuesday night in College Station, right? I'm sure there are some Bobcat alumni in College Station somewhere along the way, right? Just the way that it works. And the number 1 team is always going to draw. And some guys left after that 6th inning, right? They're like, it's work day. We're going to bed. All right. They sort of gave up. And we'll see what happens from here on out. All right. So, Texas State, missed out on going to the NCAA tournament last year, right? They didn't make it, right? And they have always a good baseball team. But they did not. They usually have one of those teams that has, the power because that ballpark, but they don't have the pitching. They had the pitching yesterday or the other day against A&M. And that's a good job by Texas State. So great job by Texas State. And it obviously helps out the Sun Belt in a big way when you can get those wins. And so it was, let me see, that Sun Belt, don't want to crush them too much, but it doesn't update because it's supposed to be automatically. Let's see if it does, because it was a pretty good Tuesday. Let's see here. It is all updated. Ole Miss did beat Southern Miss, but Troy beat Mississippi State, and Texas State beat A&M. That's a pretty big night. Some other games didn't go the Sun Belt's way, because then you can, talk out of both sides of your mouth. Then it's just a midweek ball game when New Orleans beats South Alabama, and when McNeese beats the Cajuns. But when Texas State takes down A&M, it it helps out everybody in the Sun Belt. So that's a big win for Steve Stroud and his boys. And we'll see if they can use that kind of momentum. Again, baseball's not that way. The harder you try, the tougher it is. And so we'll see if they can use that momentum against Grand Canyon this weekend. All right. Let's take a timeout. South Alabama back on the court following what we thought was the game of the year over Texas State. They're taking on Southern Miss, who lost their point guard. And we'll see what happens as South Alabama ends up beating Southern Miss, but it was not quite as easy as maybe one would have thought. Do that after I tell you about Roy. Attention, Sunbelt fans. The future of college sports is here, and it's transparent. Before the Roy app, NIL negotiations often happened under the table, and fans didn't have a clear way to directly support the athletes they love. Now, with Roy, you can be part of the change and support Sunbelt athletes in the most transparent way possible. Roy, the NIL app, allows you to choose the player you want to support, decide how much to contribute, and receive exclusive content from the athletes you back. And the best part, if your player transfers, you get your money back. It's risk-free to show your support. The Roy app is giving fans control. No more uncertainty. Now you can provide transparent, impactful support and help shape the team and future of college sports with your contributions. Download the Roy app from the App Store and start backing Sunbelt athletes the way they deserve with transparency, trust, and a real impact. This is the future of college sports. Join it now by downloading Roy and support your favorite players. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, South Alabama coming off that tough overtime loss to Texas State, taking on Southern Miss, who had dismissed Corbello, the point guard, and it looked like South Alabama was going to run away with this game. They got up to a 36-19 lead. Judah Brown averages just under 10 points a game, and I think he had 7 in 2 trips. he hit a 3, got fouled, came back and hit another 3. So he had 4 points on 1 trip and 3 on the next. And they were running away with it, and yet Southern Miss just would not go away. They started hitting threes, and they had such good ball movement. South Alabama couldn't set up their zone. They could not set up their zone. And let me see what this game was at halftime. I should have had it. At halftime. Also, I will tell you it was 6.5 when I saw the line. At halftime, it was 10, 46-36, South Alabama. All right. At one point in time, it was 36-19. In fact, at one point in time, it was 21-16, South Alabama. They got it to 36-19. They went on a big time run, like 15-1 run to take control of the ball game. And so they were up 17 at one point in time, then to 10 at half. All right. And then Southern Miss just kept on coming and coming and coming. Someone may have passed out on the couch in the middle of it, but Southern Miss never took the lead in the second half. They did get it down. I believe they got it down to 1, I thought. They kept on hitting threes. They did get it down to 1, 57-56. Worrell made a 3 for Southern Miss, and that may have been the only time. Oh, they got it down to 59-58. And then Barry Dunning made a 3, and that looks like as close as it got for a little bit until the end. So they got it back up to 12. All right. And then South Alabama almost let it get away. Inexplicably. I still didn't say it right. They had it up. I thought it was 76-65. And Southern Miss turned it over. So South Alabama is up 11. And Eli Ormiston ended up with the basketball and is going too fast. And it's like 1-on-4. And he's trying to slow it down, and he slips. And he throws it away instead of maybe falling down with it. And it ends up being a layup the other way. And then another turnover happens. And it quickly went from an 11-point game with the ball to a 6-point game. It went from 76 to 65, and South Alabama had the ball to 76-70, really quickly. And again, Southern Miss just wouldn't go away. And South Alabama was not really taking time off of the clock. They kept on going to the bucket. They kept on making layups. They weren't missing, but Southern Miss was making 3-pointers. There were a couple of steals, and then there was one steal that Southern Miss made. All right. And let me see who it was. They made the steal on the inbounds pass. And Alvarez, Neftali Alvarez, tried to put it behind his back. Not because he was being fancy, but because that's where the guy was. It wasn't in front of him. Trying to put it behind his back, and he lost it. And it went out of bounds off of Judah Brown. The problem was Judah Brown was fouled by not one Southern Miss player, but by two. And they didn't call it, and it's right in front of the official. The official gave the ball to South Alabama. They looked at the replay. They still gave the ball to South Alabama. I guess it didn't matter in the end, but he was fouled twice. Happened right in front of the official. I don't know how he missed it. All right. South Alabama does hang on, 88-82. They are now your number 2 seed. All right. They do have to beat the Cajuns to maintain that because it is a 3-way tie. And also, they beat JMU way back when, I think before the end of the year, either right at the end of December or beginning of January. I guess I could look. Blew them out, in fact. And Arkansas State lost, and they swept Arkansas State. So they hold a tiebreaker over Troy, although they split with Troy. They obviously hold a tiebreaker over Arkansas State, and we'll get to the Red Wolves here in a minute. But South Alabama needs a win at home over the Cajuns to get that number 2 seed and go straight to the semifinals, which looks like it will be JMU and South Alabama. We'll see if that is the case. Overall tonight, we'll get to the bad beat here in a minute. Really balanced scoring. Fasayero had 16. Barry Dunning coming off his 46-point performance, 14 points on 6 of 14 shooting. Not bad, 2 of 5 from 3. Eli Ormiston has just been fantastic. He's been so good that, is it Barry Knight? I mean, he doesn't play at all. Like, the guy who used to start does not play at all. Randy Brady, not Barry Knight. I don't know why I say Barry Knight. Randy Brady still averages 18.8 minutes a game. Didn't play at all. He's gone from starting to not playing. It's crazy. And that's how good Eli Ormiston has been playing. Although in this one, 13 points, 5 rebounds in 23 minutes. Really good. He did come off the court, had something wrong with it, I think his right leg. Also, Miles Corey tweaked his left knee, but it looked like it slipped. It didn't look too bad. He left the game and came back in. He looked okay. Judah Brown off the bench. Again, 18 points, 27 minutes. Outstanding. And Katia Araming had 10 points and 6 rebounds off the bench. Golden Eagles just wouldn't go away. It's not been a great year for them, but they just would not go away. Denaje Harris has had a great season. 25 points, 11 rebounds. Kobe Montgomery, 21 points on 5 of 10 shooting from 3. And Alfred Worrell had 10 points off of the bench. The bad beat on this one was saw it at 6.5. South Alabama's leading by 6. And Barry Dunning Jr. is fouled with like 5 seconds left to go. And Mr. 46 points misses 2 free throws. Ouch. If you had it by 6.5. Ouch. Whew. That would have been a bad beat. All right. We will get to Arkansas State here in a minute. I think Georgia State took it on the chin. Yeesh. We'll quickly do that one here. Coastal Carolina beat Georgia State. Georgia State was hot. Coastal Carolina got their 3rd win in the Sun Belt, 80-74 over Georgia State. that to me is shocking. I did not see that one coming at all. No, not really at all. Let's see here. Noah Ammenhauser had 26 points for Coastal, 10 of 15 shooting, 10 rebounds. He had a big ball game. Rasheed Jones had 20 points, and Joshua Mayo had 16. Jelani Hamilton had 25 points for Georgia State. Nick McMullen had 12, but boy, Tenari Lane only had 8 on 3 of 10 shooting. And Zarik Nutter off the bench had 14. That's a bad loss for Georgia State because they could have been looking at 9-8. They could have finished at maybe 10-9 or 10-8. And now that's a tough loss for seeding purposes. So Georgia State falls to Coastal Carolina 80-74. All right, we will take a timeout. Arkansas State and the Cajuns get a little physical in the Cajun Dome as Arkansas State is still looking to secure a top 4 seed. We'll do that right after I tell you about Fabric. There we go. Life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids take their first steps, and before you know it, they're off to college. That's why securing their future is so important. Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get term life insurance that fits your family needs. With Fabric, you can apply for term life insurance online right from your couch. You can be covered in under 10 minutes, and in many cases, no health exam is required. Affordable coverage. You can get $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day, so protecting your loved ones doesn't have to break the bank. Fabric also offers free digital wills and access to investment accounts to help you plan for your children's future. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their families. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That's meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Insurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Arkansas State coming off, I think, a pretty easy win, a blowout over ULM, but still that is only their second win in their last 6 Sunbelt games, not including the MAC loss. And they're running away with this game at the end of the first half. They went on like a 14-0 run in what was a close ball game, like a 6-point ball game. And they went on a 14-0 run, and it got ugly after the first media timeout. In a 25-point game, and maybe this is why Brian Hoskins had some issues with it, Arkansas State won the ball game 83-64 in a game that, again, was not close after the first 17 minutes of the game. Halftime was 44-28. Okay. So with about 14 and a half minutes to go in the game, is it London Fields? Let me see if I get the name right. London Fields had a breakaway. Joseph Pinion did not want him to have a breakaway dunk in a 25-point game. All right. So London Fields is going up for the dunk. Pinion is going to prevent said dunk. Okay. Hard foul. Now, a couple of things. Did see one of the Rage Review guys tweet. Seemed like he wasn't happy with the hard foul. He may have been more upset that some of the Cajuns guys didn't come to London Fields' assistance. Maybe. I don't know. You never know what people are saying with Twitter. He was like, oh my God, that was a hard foul. And it was. All right. More hard the way he landed than anything else. Because here's the thing. Pinion got the ball. He went up and blocked the shot. Now, he got a lot of body. All right. It was a foul. I'm not saying it wasn't a foul. But it wasn't. I didn't think it was flagrant. Although that's what they called. Because Pinion went up leaped, and he got the ball. So it's not like he missed the ball. But because he hit him hard and Fields landed awkwardly, and the announcers, Twitterless Dan McDonald, said they did call. It was either a technical, I guess they called it a technical foul. I'm not even sure if it was technical or flagrant, but they did shoot 4 free throws. All right. Well, that's a difference. If it was a technical foul, then Pinion said something as he walked away. So that's the difference, actually. I don't know if I wasn't quite clear. I did go back and try to watch it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure I was clear before I started recording. But then some of the other players got into it. The Cajuns head coach Zimmerman got into it. He got ejected. And again, here's the thing. There's no real rivalry between the Cajuns and Arkansas State, especially Brian Hodgins. He just got there, right? Bob Marlin's not there. There's no real rivalry. Last year, when Brian Hodgins came in there for the first time, there was a power outage, right? I would even remember driving up to the Cajun Dome. What happened to the lights, right? This was not even a Cajun Dome power outage. This was a Lafayette, Louisiana power outage deal. And Coach Hodgins is like, well, we'll play this tomorrow afternoon. We'll play it first thing in the morning, right? Because the earlier you play it, the better off there'll be no crowd. We'll play it when you want to. And whatever agreement they had to. I think we found the commissioner was with the ULM team. I think that's where we found the commissioner because we got to let them know what's going on. And I was on the court with these guys just to find out what the discussion was, right? Because there's a lot more into that than you realize because the officials have to go to the next game. So they couldn't play too late because the game was on a Thursday and the official is going to probably stay Thursday night and then leave Friday to go for the Saturday game. They can't leave too long on Friday. Can't play too late on Friday if he's got a Saturday game. So they had to play it early. I think they played like 4:00 or maybe 5:00 on a Friday, something like that. It couldn't be too late. But you got to get a lot more permission than you think. All right. And everybody's got to agree, right? For the Cajun Dome's got to be available. When's the next game? Are they playing back-to-back games? Are they playing on Saturday, playing on Sunday, whatever it is? And then, but so the point is, there's no real rivalry between the Cajuns and Arkansas State. The only thing I can think of is that nobody likes getting their ass kicked, period. And the Cajuns have had not a great season, although Sunbelt-wise, they've been okay. And, but nobody likes getting their ass kicked, and they were getting their ass kicked at home. All right. And even the announcer said, and I know they're Cajuns announcers, but even Brian Hodgson was like, Pinion, what are you doing? You see it's 25 points. They could have made it 23. Just take the ball out of bounds. Now, again, I'm the Cajun homer, right? Pinion got ball. He did. He got the ball. So, nonetheless, Arkansas State, I'm pretty sure is pretty safe. Let me see. Are they? No, because you know what? Guess what? They lost to Marshall. They have to win this game. They got to beat Monroe, which should not be tough. To be honest with you, that's at Monroe. Who's Marshall got? So there's actually a lot on the line. Marshall has App State. They may have mailed it in. We'll see. That game is at home in Huntington. So that's a ball game. That may be the only thing left on the line, whether App State is a 4 seed or a 5 seed. let me see who else. The Cajuns get South Alabama. Who's Troy got? Troy has Southern Miss. I'm figuring Troy's going to win that ball game. JMU has Texas State. That may not be a definite thing. But, well, then I'm going to go with tiebreakers. But JMU beat Arkansas State. So I think JMU may have already clinched. JMU may have already clinched a top 2 seed. That may be the case. But Arkansas State needs to win, because if they lose and Marshall wins, Arkansas State is in the top 4 seed. That would get you all the way to the quarters. And Matt Stewart doesn't think a team that can win is not going to be able to win 4 ball games and win a tournament. I happen to think so. I think it's wide open. I think a team like Marshall, or in this case, Arkansas State, will be able to do it. He disagrees. We'll see. And then again, that dynamic changes definitely if the 2 top seeds are knocked off, because then those 2 teams are either going to have played 3 or 4 ball games. Then it may not matter nearly as much. All right. That is that. We will preview Friday's action for Friday's episode. All right. I do have Thursday off, so that'll be nice. May do a little hunting. We'll see. Another distillery over in Lexington has been having out good stuff on the shelves, so we shall see if we go over there. Do have the day off, so that'll be nice. Really appreciate it. Almost another month in the books, and we got another week. Remember, Matt Stewart will be on. The schedule is to have him on Tuesday's episode to preview the Sun Belt Conference tournament, which that'll be the first day of the tournament, but we will preview it that day. All right. Thanks very much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Have a great Thursday, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Friday.